this is really live watching LeBron's version of The Last Dance. This is a doc that we're watching live instead of 25 years later because of the story that is behind this whole thing. Remaking the roster late, the 2-10 start, and how it looked like LeBron was just, maybe it was over for him. He was not going to win another championship or play for another championship. But instead, they rebuild the roster around him. They don't put in vets like he always used to have. Younger players instead, hungry players, defenders. They're all guys who also are wanting to play for him, wanting to win for him.
The home court. Here is LeBron.
Well, what's the biggest difference between level 3 and level 2 when you're trying to communicate to the guys?
Well, I mean, as hard as we thought level 2 was, it's going to be even harder, this round. And that doesn't take anything away from GS because that was, I know I've had my battles with that franchise, so I know how hard it is. But, as you continue to get up into the numbers, and like you said, level 3 is just a very difficult challenge.
And at level 3 is the top seed in the West.
Why does this sound like a video game? And like we're getting to Bison
levels
at the end of Street Fighter.
Yes,
you talking about this in a totally different way. Like this is sports. Like this, and we understand now. You about to play the #1 team in the West, and Denver got to get that respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hungrier defenders, guys that can run the floor, dudes like Austin Reeves ascending, and us now seeing him as a household name, a dude that could go out and get $80 million in his next contract. Like exactly.
Yeah.
Or Lonnie Walker finishing the game. And then we get to hear one of LeBron's great revisionist lies. I told him, you know how LeBron will say, and that's my favorite saying right there. LeBron was like, I told him to stay ready because I knew he'd score 15 in the fourth quarter against the Golden State Warriors, right? When you look at this team, it's comprised differently than we've seen other LeBron teams that have made a championship run. What this does, though, this adds to the greatest career.
Say the dad of the group, sort of that guy that's overseeing everything. I'll help you when need to, but Anthony Davis is the star. He's the one that's got to carry us. And every other night, there's always a Lonnie Walker or an Austin Reeves or somebody that shows up and can be a star, and LeBron is happy for it. There's just something, he's been the villain before. Dare I say that this might be the first time the country can be decided with the Final Four teams that this might be the favorite team to win the championship?
I think a lot of people are pulling for LeBron in this one. How do you view?
Well, this is different. This actually isn't LeBron's run. I think that's the difference between The Last Dance with Michael Jordan and this. Like we already talked about basketball. That's what LeBron James is doing. And we saw him, whether it was finishing against Dylan Brooks late or what we saw in Game 6 against the Golden State Warriors. He now knows when and how to pick his spots, and he's going to have to do this against this Denver Nuggets team that I believe is a better team front to back than the Lakers are.
And Vince, it's one of those runs where it's not all about LeBron. It's almost like he's been picking his spots in different games. It's been about other guys.
And I think that's the growth of LeBron because he's used to being that guy, having the ball in his hand. I'm going to dictate how this is going to turn out. Now he's empowered Anthony Davis to be the guy. You're alpha dog #1. Have the ball. And, Draymond said it best. We're trying to figure out how to guard LeBron off the ball.
Yeah, right.
Like off the ball. This is another version of him being able to sit back and say, Austin Reeves is capable.
Yes.
Let me allow him, empower him to be that because we're going to need him down the road when I don't have it. And that's what we're seeing. Like, when he has it, okay, you guys don't have it? Power up. I power up. I become LeBron James that we know. But
puts the suit on.
Exactly. Right. But until then, he's allowing these guys to make mistakes because you're not gonna understand how this works, and you're not gonna have experience until you go.
He wins another championship and all that stuff. Beating them, and now, of course, this is the toughest team that they're going to face. Just getting to a finals, what a story this would be for LeBron James.
So if that's the case, then where would that rank when you talk about LeBron's career accomplishments? Because in essence, what you're saying is they knocked off the top 2 seeds in the West and the defending champions.
Yeah, but you see, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. When you look at this Memphis Grizzly team, you're down Steven Adams, you're down another big. It was a different team than we'd seen the entire season, and it also was a team that had no true leader. Right? There was no OG in that locker room that had any control over them.
Mm-hmm. Then you realize that how can you ever learn if I don't let you try and then see what you can do? And that's what I think we've seen with the evolution of this team. But again, let's just indulge me on the idea of this being a live docu-series because of all the episodes we're talking about, the 2-10 start, how ugly things were in the midst of that season. They make all the trades, him getting injured, which that looked really bad. Dylan Brooks calling him old, calling him out, talking trash to him to a point where, wow, is he that old that guys are disrespecting him like that in front of his face? Overcoming that, having to face Steph Curry, who seemingly owned him in the postseason, that if Steph Curry beat him again, there were some people, not me, but some people that were like, hey, if Steph beats him again, does Steph...
That script was written, and you could see the writing on the wall. And though Golden State found a way to beat Sacramento, that ain't Golden State. Right, that ain't the team.
They even said they weren't going
that
right.
ain't the team that won the championship the year before. The Lakers are taking care of the business that they should have taken care of as this team is constructed right now. This isn't the team that started the way they did. And so when I look at what this means for LeBron, it's kind of like his least impressive championship, if you're asking me. And it's because
beating the Thunder was the least impressive championship.
Well, in the sense, though, in beating the Thunder, that was the championship team to win. And even though Dwayne Wade was the leader of that team, LeBron James was the best player in the world.
Right.
LeBron James ain't the best player in the world anymore. LeBron James isn't the player that I listened to y'all talk all last week needs to show up for him to win. Right? LeBron James was the dude that Wendy was saying, LeBron has nothing left. He has no legs. And it was true. He couldn't go from one night, kill you and give you 30 plus, take a day off and come back and do the same thing.
When you say,
and so that's why it's the least impressive to me from him individually and personally.
But I mean, but the story though, because obviously when he took the unfinished business because of how he left going back, that would probably never be replaced as the best championship for him. But this one, because of the story,
who's the villain?
That's my point. He always was the villain.
But who's the other one? Right, like so. Whenever we have these championships and we have a guy, right? We have a guy that's the star. We have a guy that we're rooting for, and then the other guy is the villain. The other guy is the antagonist. There is none, right? There's nobody else you're attached to in the world.
No, that's real MVP.
Yeah. As far as
you're right,
are you going to make a change, or are you going to sit here and let this happen? You know, some people saying, just let it ride out until the summer. No, he said we're going to do it now. Now, once you get this new group, you have to make it work. Yeah. And I think LeBron deserves a lot of credit for that. Goes back to what I was just saying. Empowerment and allowing growth to his young guys. Because if not, they're not here because Austin Reeves doesn't have the confidence to go out there and, LeBron, no, I got it. You go over there. I'll make a play for you. And he says, okay. That doesn't happen because that's never been LeBron's thing.
Well, I tell you what, obviously these guys, Western Conference Final, it begins tonight. We got to pivot.
That's why when we watch this, and we're going to watch the championship because it could be Lakers and Celtics, or it could be Heat and Lakers again, or Denver wins, and we're going to be like, oh, yeah, it's cool. But it isn't that type of enthralling that you're watching to the last shot of every game because you want to see if this dude now takes the throne. There is not that's not happening this season, and I think that's why, to me, it's not as impressive.
Vince?
But I'll say this. I think coming from 2-10, and we can sit here and honestly say there's no chance in the world. And shout out to Rob.
This LeBron run that feels about Game 7. Kraken Stars winner faces the Golden Knights in the Western Conference.